I guess it's quite delightful to hear all these ideas that we are pulling together into the space program. So I'm just going to mention something which Denise had mentioned earlier in the day, best at basics. I think she went over that slide very quickly. And the whole idea is about challenging the status quo. You know, no audit is a good example of that. Just asking why. Why do we do it this way? And kind of innovation is everyone's business. You know, we were talking about Project 52. How delightful it will be for that healthcare assistant, well, on Oak 1, to hear that slow cooker meals are being talked about in Brisbane, you know, through Project 52. And that's the way you kind of embed leadership at every level. That's the way you kind of create the pathfinders of tomorrow. So the whole idea of best at basics, and these are some of the things that we would like to try out in a systematic way, things that we have been working on, is encouraging people to ask why we do it that way. Don't accept that, oh, this is how we have always done it, and that's why. Ask those questions. This is the best we can do. And let's break down a process into small bite-sized chunks. You know, I love Tracy's example of Betty in the morning and how she does that quite nicely, you know, wake up, medication time. Pick up a process, and then you break it down into smaller chunks, and then look at, is there something in here which we should be doing differently? So, again, kind of, if we kept to the 3-3-3 model, when someone comes up with a new idea, in the first 3 days, kind of try and work out what would success look like. You know, have those discussions with your ward manager, because have those courageous conversations. It's the ward manager's job to actually take those ideas forward. Within 3 weeks, try and implement some of those changes, keep an eye out for unintended consequences, see whether you can get buy-up from others or not in your team. What are the challenges? And over a period of 3 months, kind of evaluate, is this a runner or not? You know, so going from proof of concept to proof of feasibility. Does it work? And if it works, is this something that we can roll out? And you can use your RAG rating or kind of, and there are some beautiful examples of this. I mentioned tea and toast on Oak 2 is another beautiful example that at the end of the day, you sit together in a group and discuss how the day went and how tomorrow could look like. So morning shows the day, all is well that ends well. So you start the day on a positive note, you end the day on a positive note. And yeah, Tracy is there pretending to be a patient. Jane, I hope you're giving her the right medication. Yeah, on the website, she's got a picture with a sunflower over her head. Better than Terry pretending to be George Clooney. He sent in his photograph with George Clooney, saying that that's who I am. Sorry. Letters for Later, you know, the initiative that Becky and her team ran on Oak 1. Another beautiful example. You look at the discharge process and you think, what is a small change that we can make over here, which could actually break this cycle, which could add some more some added value. So letters written at the point of discharge to a future self. You know, if you got admitted, only then that letter is open. You know, beautiful example. And we need to take these forward in a systematic way. Terry didn't speak about the Parity Promoter, but you know, there are all these signs throughout our services that differentiate out between staff and patient, and how we promote dignity. You know, that hatch over there, which kind of separated out staff from patients, and now to a door where actually you can go inside, have a conversation in privacy. You know, all of these little changes make a big difference. So the whole concept of space program on which this has been scheduled, you know, this entire session, is around defining what is my space, what is your space, and how could we create a shared space. So respecting the patient's own space on the ward, their bedroom, you know, that is their space. Respecting that, not just opening the door, going in willy-nilly at night, not flashing a torch in their face to check whether they're sleeping or not, respecting that space as theirs. And they can invite us into their space just like we can invite them into our space on the wards, you know, in the ward office. So the whole idea is to pool these things together on which we are getting proof of concept. And next it will be to scale up to proof of feasibility. So we've kind of made some funding applications at the moment to pull these together. Let's see what comes out of it. So what's the space on that? They're all going on the website, promise.global. Give us a like on the Facebook page. So every time a new innovation comes up, it will be shared over there. So you don't have to keep on track with on Promise Global. So you will see that on Facebook, and then you can follow that through. Haven't yet got onto Twitter. So the big idea is together we can develop a global vision for local agendas. What we do here within Cambridgeshire, Hertfordshire, together we can work and really set out a change agenda. The patient is not in the way, the patient is the way. This is a quote from John Nicholson. And sometimes it could feel like that on a busy ward when you are juggling 10 different things and the patient's getting in the way. So that's where, helping our staff to take a step back and think, yep, patient is the way, and moving forward, celebrating those new successes, innovating the wheel over and over again. I don't know whether you noticed on one of Terry's pictures, there was a You Said We Did board, which is a daily affair on Mulberry Tree. It started as a process on the old age wards, was a static thing. You wanted mobility aids. In 3 months' time, you have got mobility aids. So it was a very static thing, which has now evolved into something that is dynamic, used in the community meeting on a daily basis. That's beautiful. That should be celebrated.
We've also headed up some project groups now. So in our community meeting, we have project groups where we've identified something from the no audit. We're heading up project groups with patients and staff allocated as project leads.
Yeah.
And so we had one of our task force project leads managed to implement something on the ward, which made her feel really good about it.
Fantastic. So the whole idea of Promise Local and Global is that we can work together to share successes and our struggles and the challenges that we face, and we can learn from each other. Because we all want to transform our front lines and we want to push on the boundaries of care that currently exist. So the goal is that organizational frontiers should not be a barrier to jointly redefine the frontiers of humane care, and that's what we're all trying to do today. Thank you.
Thank you.